University. Madam also work on the how to declining pollution produced by the textile companies nearby the Bhiwandi region, so that his maximum work is associated nearby the Bhiwandi. She is a dedicated academician in his academic career. Uh, she is guiding PhD students, MPhil students in the subject of zoology. More than 40 research papers she is published in peer-reviewed journals. Those are reputed journals. Madam also visited in so many countries like US, UK, Canada, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Brazil, France, etc. as a resource person uh, as per his great knowledge. Madam received several awards for her knowledge and work. More than 60 research papers in international as well as national level. She is presented research papers, different research papers, and particularly, Madam closely associated with us, Mukta, from so many years back. We all know the how Madam doing the work sincerely. There is so many things are there in biodata, so huge biodata is there. So I request to Madam to continue this.
Thank you, Dr. Dhananjay. I'm thankful that you have given my very, in fact, detailed introduction, and it took half of my time, I think, in that. Instead, I could have introduced and given a little more talk on my topic today. But first of all, I'm very much thankful to GKS College as well as Mukta for giving me an opportunity on this very auspicious day of World Environment Day. As we know that this year we are celebrating the biodiversity. Mainly this year it is dedicated to biodiversity. So I will restrict my talk to biodiversity because already Dr. Pulekar has enough given elaborations on what is climate change, what is environmental status, and how economy, commerce, and socially how we are all affected due to this situation. So better I'll come to the presentation part. I will request host to allow me to share the screen.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Go ahead. You can share screen.
Yeah, can you see my presentation? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, madam. Yes, madam. That can be seen, madam. Yes,
can be seen. So this is,
yeah.
I begin with my talk, and I'm again thankful that many of the people have joined today. In fact, I had requested many people because I feel that this just is not, my talk is not restricted to just a World Environment Day, but the kind of issue across the globe people are facing about the water scarcity. And as in my introduction also, mostly I should be given an introduction like I'm working on maximum of the rivers across the country. My basic area where I'm leading is Tripura, West Bengal, and Maharashtra. So today I will try to show the situation of our rivers, because basically when we talk about environment, our environment remains healthy when our rivers are healthy. And when rivers are healthy means human life is healthy. And that's a very, very direct relation between environment and the human being. So that's why I'm going to take you through the slides of my work, what I have done in the rivers. And my main intention is, if any 1% of the people, those who are today listening to me, and they also try to work on this particular line, that's why my slides are also prepared in a manner that it should be guideline to every common layman, so that most of us should know how to work in the river rejuvenation work, why river is important, why this aspect is become across the world very important in terms of environment. Now, today's topic I have selected is natural restoration of rivers, natural restoration of rivers amid COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and post-COVID challenges. let me tell you, all the participants here, that today we are seeing, like every day we are hearing about the news of river being seen very nicely flowing. Ecological flow has been regained by the rivers. But let me tell you, this regain is also of 10%. And that too, this 10% has come up only because of the industries which are now closed down. But at the same time, if the sewage release, actually very systematically, sewage is also released in the rivers. If that would have been also stopped, then at least 50% of restoration we could have seen. And let me tell you, when we go for the river rejuvenation work, we understand that how much millions of dollars is required to clean the rivers. But see the beauty of nature, that it has itself restored. Rivers have started restoring itself. But I'm very scared that once this this lockdown will be lifted, I'm very sure that the situation is going to be highly challenging than what it was previously existing. Because few days back I was invited in Ganga region on the webinar, and then there also I had to speak about the Ganga because I'm convener of the Ganga studies. So of West Bengal region, when I was giving presentation, others were giving of Uttarakhand, Bihar, and other regions. So that time we come to know that the places wherever this lockdown is a bit lifted, again a lot of becoming very deteriorated, and sudden means like additional amount of all kinds of garbages is being released, and again it has started getting polluted. So I'm scared, and that's why I am feeling that with my today's presentation I would like to create a lot of awareness, sensitization, internalization, where people should understand how we should take care of our rivers which were basically called to be our mothers. हम लोग अपने नदी को हमेशा से माँ कहते आए हैं. It is our traditional culture. But in the name of माँ, Rajendra Singh ji uses one word, मैला ढोने का गाड़ी हमने बना दिया इसको. आज अगर हम अपने नदियों को देखेंगे तो it's become totally with all garbages, and most of the area we find that Ganga is dying. At the same time, if I look at it's in our traditional culture also, Ganga was personified and personalized as the goddess. और इसी वजह से कहते हैं मोक्ष भी मिलने के लिए लोग गंगा में नहाने जाते हैं. लेकिन आज अगर हम देखेंगे गंगा की हालत भी बहुत बुरी है. Similarly, I would like to make you understand that unless and until this river will flow properly, our biodiversity, which completely depends on the flow, environmental flow, ecological flow of river, it cannot exist in a healthy manner. I hope that all of you know that Ganga has several medicinal property, and it's the only river in the world which is having the medicinal properties because it has lots of biophages. And the reason of biophages is it's coming from the from Himalayas, Gangotri. We know it's coming from the Gangotri. So while it travels from Gangotri to Ganga Sagar in West Bengal, it carries a lot of medicinal properties only because there are several herbs, plants, trees are there from along with the soil that it gets all these kinds of good medicinal properties. But if you while I was doing the Ganga Yatra towards from Farakka in West Bengal to Ganga Sagar, we found that as Ganga flows from Gangotri, from Bihar onwards, if you see the flow of Ganga, it's all of only kachra. It's not at all, we cannot say it's a pure water, we cannot say it's a good water which is flowing towards West Bengal and to the Ganga Sagar. When we say ecological flow or environmental flow, we have to understand it has to have a continuous flow. While it will have a continuous flow, it has got the right to meet with the ocean in a proper flow. But that is not happening, and because of lot of silts and all, which I'll take you through my slides further, you will come to understand all the situation. Hence, I feel that today it's an opportunity that we should ponder on these burning issues of water, where there is even groundwater is becoming overdraft. Even corporatization of water is a big issue. Corporatization of water means now we could not imagine few years back that we were buying water in the bottles. Today, if you go to airport also, you will find different types of waters being sold in different rates. So you can imagine the water, which is a natural resource, which is supposed to be freely available to us. But today we are ourselves buying it and we are drinking it. At the same time, as we have forgotten even to directly drink water from the rivers or from the taps. We are used to now purifiers, but we understand with this purification also a lot of good water is going into the sewage. So these are the ways that in our lifestyle, if we make changes again and we go back to our traditional times, I think a lot of this groundwater, which is becoming overdraft, it can be restored. We know that nowadays in every building, literally every building in every village, wherever you go, you will find that everywhere there are bore wells which is dug. Bore wells means itself that it's we are just pulling out water, we are extracting water out of the ground instead of giving water to the ground. And if at all, with this, before I forget also, I'll request that as many of you listening to me, if you can make an effort that if your buildings are having bore wells, during this particular rain, at least roof water harvesting, or say by means of rainwater harvesting, try to give it a peripheral, arrangement where by filtration method that you can release water into the ground through the periphery of these bore wells. That will be the best way of groundwater recharge. So please keep it in mind. Another part which part of my today's speech will be about the authorities' responsibility, and not only authorities. Let me tell you very frankly today here, after I have, I have 2 PhDs, third PhD I'm doing, I've done so much of research papers, everything, but I feel all these are crap unless and until we go to the ground level and we do work. Because as a responsible citizen or a public, if we take these responsibilities in our hand and we can help these authorities, I think most of the departments today, wherever you walk in, you will find that everybody is finding the issues of human resource crunch. So if we can volunteer in all this work, it will be as good as as we are educated people, responsible people, we should be helping in all these aspects. So these are the things which I would prefer that while I'm talking, please look at it, that what I'm trying to say, and try to imbibe certain things, if they adopt something, so that you can put it to practice. Now, the challenging issues in the river restoration, I'll just take a few points and then I'll first start going to the slides of showing you certain pictures of how things are happening in around us. Now, the main challenging issues of river restoration, remember that mainly, as I said, about the sewage. See, in all our municipalities, municipal corporations, everywhere, literally in Ganga, in West Bengal, to Tripura, to Maharashtra, and everywhere across the country I have traveled, I have found that wherever these sewage treatment plants are there, they are not of full capacity. Like suppose I talk about, जैसे अभी धनंजय ने बताया कि मेरा जो कर्म क्षेत्र है, that is Bhiwandi, because I'm a principal there, so daily I'm getting to see that place. So what I have been finding that only 15% of sewage water is being treated. This, and that means you can understand, that means 85% of sewage is directly flowing into the river. It's the duty of municipality to audit the sewage water and then create a proper kind of sewage treatment plant. The next one is about, I am surrounded by industry. I am surrounded by industries around in Bhiwandi. You all know that it's a textile hub, and from there only Dhirubhai Ambani also had come up. Now this Bhiwandi place is all around. It is surrounded by textile industries, and direct effluents are being released in the river. I'm mainly working on a Kamwari river, which is its source is coming from Depoli and Lapaj region in Bhiwandi. It's coming from the mountains, and then it's a seasonal river, of course, but then throughout the year it is there, and it's supplying ample and enough amount of water to the Bhiwandi city along with these industries. And but in this case, what is happening, that the water is which is being supplied from this river to the industries, they are directly releasing all the effluents in the river. At the same time, there are too much of encroachments in this river sides. Mainly encroachments are supposed to be taken care by corporations, MMRDA, and all these people are responsible for looking after these encroachments. And while having the encroachments, there is also river channelization. If you will go to the Dahisar river near Dahisar region, you will find that river has been restricted between two channels of concrete channelization has been done. And very systematically, all house sewages is being released into the Dahisar river. Everywhere you move from one place to the other, you will find that this way the rivers have been channelized. Most of the rivers, there is ghats which is made. Like I had been a few days back to Bhatsa river near Khadauli, Taluka Kalyan and Thane district. There also I find that many ghats have been developed where it is not needed. It's a blue line zone where no cementing can be done. And when you make ghats, means systematically people come there, they try to pollute water. All this is happening. Actually, it is all illegal. So it's the duty of all the local authorities like Tehsildar, then Gram Sevak, and then the Gram Sarpanch and all to take care of all these things, that such illegal structures should not come up in the rivers. At the same time, most important issue of the rivers is today is the siltation. Siltation means when water is flowing from a higher level, like upstream to the downstream, it flows, it carries a lot of debris along with it. Siltation means lot of silts is there, which needs to be cleaned periodically of every river across India. Now I'm talking where siltation is, desilting is not being done. And in any place, if it is being done, it is illegal. And government is lining is required under authorities' guidance only, that how much level of deepening has to be done, how much level of silt can be removed. Because unless and until we remove silt periodically, water cannot percolate inside. Like now, suppose I'm staying in Goregaon, Mumbai. Here there is a river which I am trying to work on, Walbert river, and it's flowing from one of the mountain which just behind my house. I will show that picture also. But if the siltation is not being done of these rivers, what is happening? Water is not able to percolate in the ground. So that's why today ground is becoming overdraft only because our rivers are not being silted, and all the water through, then it becomes into Nala, and all the water is directly going towards the ocean. When I talk about Tripura and West Bengal region, remember that this water, Ganga water is directly going and going towards Bangladesh, because we are not able to retain it in our place, and then all the water directly flows into Bangladesh region, because Tripura is surrounded from three sides by Bangladesh, even from at West Bengal to Ganga Sagar region, it's in the West Bengal region. So most of our water is either going towards, because it's having the transboundary, and in that manner, one more important thing which you have to understand here is because of transboundary, these silts are forming lot of chur lands like islands, and all our lands are moving towards Bangladesh. And in that manner, our boundary, our Indian boundary is also reducing, which is a very, very critical kind of an issue, but yet government is not taking note of it, nor having seriousness about it. I have tried to raise all these issues before Prime Minister, President's office, Water Resource body, and Jal Shakti, and everyone. And I'm waiting for the day when I may be invited someday and I will be able to showcase them all these things. Earlier, I was many a times invited. I had tried to show. I've done a lot of RTI so that these things can happen. One thing I would like to draw your attention towards, why this Kumbh Mela? If we hear the Kumbh Mela also happening in Trimbakeshwar or in Ganga, we have to understand our traditional rituals. Why it was, even designed this way, why Kumbh Melas were being organized. It was at that period, Raja, Praja and Sadhu Sant used to meet for Samudra Manthan, it used to be called, because for the understanding of safety and security of the rivers and water bodies. Mainly it was, from the angle of Punya, Pap and Punya Vichar, because in Indian tradition and culture, we give more of importance in the religious sense and all to Pap and Punya Vichar, and in that manner that it was given a kind of an angle. Today we have recently witnessed our Nisarg, that storm which had come in across Maharashtra region from Alibag side and all. You have to understand why these things are happening. I will request please mic to be unmute. Please mute your mic. I think Arjun's mic is unmute. Yes, thank you. So earlier it used to be, respect to Bhagwan. Bhagwan means what? Panch Mahabhut. And Panch Mahabhut we used to call Bha. Bha se Bhumi, A se Agni means fire, Ga se Gagan means Akash, Va se Vayu, Na se Neer. Neer matlab नीर नारी नदी. राजेंद्र सिंह जी बहुत अच्छी तरह से कहते हैं कि जब आप इस नीर नारी और नदी का सम्मान करोगे और तभी जाकर हम नदियों को संभाल पाएंगे, तभी जाके हमारा वाटर कंजर्वेशन हो पाएगा. इसीलिए ये जो हम सम्मान भूल गए हैं नीर नारी और नदी का करना, उस वजह से आज हम लोग सारा जो कुछ भी फेस कर रहे हैं. Another thing which I would like to draw your attention towards our constitutional governance, challenges of our Indian constitutional governance. Recently in 2019, several bills were introduced in the parliament where, it is still in the form of draft, but it is going to be becoming into act. But if you will look at these bills which has been constituted or drafted, is more talking about disputes rather than development. But if you will look at the constitutional governance at the time of Baba Saheb Ambedkar before 1956, it was all talking about integrated development of interstate water basins. But today it's all about disputes. Three of them which I have very prominently shown you here is Interstate River Water Dispute, River Basin Management Bill, and then Dam Safety Authority Bill. Now we have to understand that these all the drafts which has been drafted earlier, all these rivers were the state authority. Now through these draft bills, it is given more of a federal kind of a situation, and then it's all being taken under the central government's authority. That I'm sure that this will also create a lot of issues when such situation will arise and the draft will become into an act. Next is about, as I said, that I'm already working in West Bengal region where Ganga is for 520 kilometers, which is split into Hooghly and Bhagirathi in the name of Hooghly and Bhagirathi, and it's moving ahead in Bangladesh in the name of Padma River. There, as I said, there is a lot of silting. I'll show you the pictures. And mainly we have to remember about the barrages which is being formed, the dams which is being constructed. Let me tell you, all the participants here, that across the world, all the Western countries have already stopped making any kind of big dams. They are only making check dams. And in our country, still we are going ahead with renovation of the dams, as well as new dams have been announced. More than 700 more dams have been announced nationwide with 3,466 crores of amount, which has been already sanctioned for operational performances, improvement of operational performances, and for even new dams. So this is the situation of our Indian country, but we are not understanding under the name of this dam construction, we are destroying so much of biodiversity. I will show you such pictures also, how much of biodiversity, in what sense I'm talking, that if dam comes up, what kind of biodiversity and hectares of lands which gets affected, and yet we don't have any repository to have a data bank where what is gone, what has undergone those water, submerged in the water, what was earlier existing as a national heritage, or what were the other things which was there, how was the livelihood of people, what kind of animals or aquatic organisms which were there. No data we have of any dams which was constructed. Maybe if it is there also, but it may be very few, because I have my own record of Maharashtra where I don't have any kind of record of such thing which is maintained. So let me tell you that in Maharashtra, I'm working on Mikhi River, Dahisar River, Kambari River, Ullas River, Valduni River, Bhatsa River, Anjuna River in Rajapur region, there I'm doing. And in Tripura region, I'm working on the Gomti, Howrah, Kovai, Dalai and all. See, these all three, if you see the three situations, three are very typical three different situations. Where if I go to Tripura region, it is all of more of mountain region. Mountain regions have its own issues. So that's the reason I'm very lucky. I'm very feel fortunate that Rajendra Singh ji has given me an opportunity to be a convener of West Bengal, Tripura and Maharashtra region for certain areas, and government of Maharashtra has recognized me as the Jal Nayak. So with that authority, that I'm able to contribute in a little whatever I can do. Now I'm coming to the Ganga basin. Let me not show you much of the now pictures and figures and all. Yes, now I'll only show the photographs where you have to understand what I'm trying to show. Now this is Ganga River, and what you see here is the 112 gates barrage dam. This is, and in front of this now you are seeing here little bit of water, and that's why this, because this is a Google picture which I could take it out for you people to show how it was initially in the beginning in 1972 when it was constructed. Immediately in 1975, just see, this is not water, but this is just silt, and you can see the dam across. And this, mainly this dam was constructed to increase the navigational property, navigational things, and then so that, channelization can happen of lot of commercial development, economic development and all. But you can see now the silts are being removed to put it on the roads, because this silt is of no use. This is almost 12 feet height. And this is the picture where I'm standing just in front of the barrage and in the Ganga. and where this silt is being removed, just a little bit of was removed for construction of temporary roads. That is what I can show. So just imagine how much amount of silt, millions and millions of tons of silts is there. But at the same time, when I have tried to approach, we are very lucky that in West Bengal, there are more than 40 central research institutes, and that too, which is existing since before independence also. But irony is that none of the research institutes have yet worked on this Ganga's siltation issue or its biodiversity or anything. It's not exaggeration, my dear friends, because I am telling you with all authority, because for the first time, when I was given an opportunity to, explore this particular area, first time I had requested NIRI to give me 2 scientists, Botanical Survey of India 2 scientists, Zoological Survey of India 2 scientists, and with the help of these director friends and their colleagues, that I could go to this particular place and I could explore these things. And then I had a complete argument with the government as well as with these institutes, that why this situation, why our institutions have not shown the right picture to the government that this thing is happening. Because just imagine, this is the situation which I'm showing you from 1972. This dam was built, but never up to 2016, let me tell you, my dear friends, up to 2016, there were never review of this dam was done. Mostly any structure when it is built, the review is very, very important aspect of it, but never review was done. Very lately it started. I will tell you which was the period and what. Now I'm trying to show you a Google map by which you will understand how this typical situation of siltation happened. Here are the you can see the pictures of 86, 90, 94, 98, and just have a look at this white portion which you can see. And you can see that on the one side, that means on the left hand side only, the silt was initially existing, and later this thing, if you can see here, 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014. Now you can see the splitting. See how the splitting has happened in the 2014. Now again, I'm coming to the 2016 and 17. See the pictures, how the splitting has happened. So you can understand now what I am talking about, ecological or environmental flow of the rivers. Now here you can understand that Ganga, when it was coming from here, when it is flowing from, that means you can see that how it got restricted. Can you see this turning here? And because of that, which you people cannot imagine also, it's a very, very typical issue in this Farakka region, in Pallarpur. Here you can see that this region, every time whenever I have gone, I have heard that 7 to 8 times and 20 to 25 villages at a time they fall in the river. That is called as katan, means sides get cut and it falls into the river, which we call it as erosion. It happens. And whenever you go there, like now I'm in Goregaon, I will say this is my 5th Goregaon. That means every time it has got fallen into the water, again it gets set. That's how this place is getting. So that means we can imagine how much of economic loss, how much is commercial loss in these places, but still we have not been able to find any solution to these things till date. Although we have so many IITs, IIMs, IISc institutes, so many engineers, so many management gurus we are producing, but still we have not been able to find solution to this. But very rightly, I can say the way Rajendra Singh ji puts it in his words, that it's today whatever we are teaching is all about extraction, rather than we are teaching them about how to manage the things, how to create the things. We are only teaching about exploitation and extraction. If we talk about engineering, if we talk of management, all this, and you can see the situation every time. The places where I had walked down, this time I had to go by boat to very long distances. And in all the process, let me tell you, it's all contractor driven things which is happening. And because जितना ये टूटेगा उतना contractor को काम मिलेगा, उतना पैसा अपना उनको खाने मिलता है. So nobody wants that the things should change. Everybody literally is hands in glove and things are totally very bad in shape. And that's ये जो आप देख रहे हो, ये बिल्डिंग है, स्कूल बिल्डिंग. एक कमरे में, एक क्लासरूम में 5 फैमिलीज रहती है हमेशा. आप जब जाके देखोगे, इनका किसी का भी रिहेबिलिटेशन नहीं हुआ है. Because let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, that in the policy, disaster management policy also, there is no policy about erosion. इरोजन होने के बाद में जो लोग अफेक्टेड लोग होते हैं, उनको किसी भी तरीके का रिलीफ फंड नहीं मिलता है, क्योंकि वो डिजास्टर फंड में है ही नहीं, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट पॉलिसी में है ही नहीं. तो इसीलिए अभी हम जाके वहां पर लोगों से भी मिलते हैं, and we are trying to see the issues, we are trying to understanding issues. Now look at this picture. This is of Ganga, where this is a board. Actually, I'm not able to zoom in to show you because we are restricted with this webinar. This is a very systematic channelization of all sewage water into the Ganga by West Bengal government. So we can understand that they are not supposed to do this, but in a very systematic manner that all sewage water is channelized. Here is all dumping of garbages which is happening. You can see the amount of fishes. Now fish catch is becoming very, very meager, 1 or 2, whereas in quintals it used to be Hilsha fish, which is too much relished in those region, export and all this. Pala masa, which is in Maharashtra, it is called as Pala masa. So you can understand the fishes also have become, fish catches become too less. So in this situation, you can imagine fishermen have lost their livelihood, and all these fishermen communities who are living in the bank of rivers, they have now moved as a contract, construction laborers and all, they have started doing the work. All our fishermen have lost their livelihoods and jobs and everything. And in this region also very prominently that beedi making has become a very prominent kind of, earning source. And with that, many of them is also getting TB. That also we found. So we move there, we meet with people, we talk to them. This is what is called as social mapping, which was never a part of our research when we used to try to find any solution. So by means of social research, I went through these villages, different villages, Gram Sarpanch, Panchayat, every man, every fisherman, we try to meet, we try to collect all the data so that we can emphasize on a solution to this situation. You can see the situation. Now I'll take you to the, I think I'm going towards, okay. One thing I would like to bring it to your notice here, this picture which you see, these are the concrete porcupine, these are called as, here you can see bamboo porcupines. Now in our Indian situation, we have another typical issues that suppose in our state, we are in West Bengal state. Now this Farakka Barrage is in the West Bengal state, but authority is of the central government. And here in this particular place, it's the local government. Now there is no coordination between central, state and local government. Hence you can see that the concrete porcupines are being made by central government. State government is making bamboo porcupine. These porcupines are made to put on these sides of the river so that it can stop erosion and it can stop the sedimentation. But in the process, what is happening here also, I can say when the bamboos are being put in the water, it's getting spoiled, and then it's, a lot of money is wasted. Similarly, another practice which government had done, that they had tried to import a grass from Japan that is called as vetiver, which is having almost 3-meter length roots. They thought that if they will put such kind of grass, that they can stop erosion, but it did not happen. So you can understand how biodiversity is totally affected. I'm telling you, when Botanical Survey of India, and these are the reports which I'm showing of Botanical Survey of India and Zoological Survey of India, and you can see so less amount of things then remaining. Hence, we go around all the universities, colleges, schools. Even here you can see we are sitting with the Barrage authorities. Farakka Barrage authorities, we are sitting to find the solution. We are in the Birla Institute, we are in the NIRI, we are in the different places where people are affected. Like this, we go around the West Bengal, and even with the Pollution Control Board chairman, here with the Pollution Control Board chairman, everywhere we try to meet people and we try to resolve the issues. Now, ultimately, we had, we had gone to FICRI, that means where it is Fishery Institute in Barakpur in West Bengal. And we found when we met them, we came to know that in 2016, when we demanded for a, like a kind of a review to the Farakka Barrage, it happened that when this FICRI made the study, they came to know that the fish lock gate, every dam has fish lock gate where migration of fish is possible, which was totally affected because the man who was operating it, he died in 1996. And after that, no appointment was made. Hence, that gate was never operated. It became non-functional. And then lot of siltation. There also fish migration stopped. And now we are seeing that the government is making another channel besides it. And that's how they're trying to find solution. Instead of modernization of dam, if they would have done, very good friend of mine, Nayan Sharma from IIT Roorkee, he has a lot of good models which many Vietnam and other countries have implemented, adopted. But here we are very hesitant to, even believe our own scientists and adopt certain engineering structures. Now this is in Tripura region where I am trying to do a lot of work. There also Gomti River and other rivers. Here you can see this tree. This is Samania Saman tree, which is, you know, very good tree which can hold the erosion, like it can stop the erosion. It can control erosion. But these trees are also disappearing now, and there is no control over the, you know, disappearance or cutting or deforestation of these things. And that's how there also a lot of pollution and river siltation has become a damn serious issue there. Recently only I have conducted one webinar with their government, and their all member secretaries and others were there. We are trying to work with them. Here you can see we are with their chief, deputy chief minister and others, and we have made all survey in the region, and that's how we go through, we meet people, we talk through press and everybody. Now I'm coming to our Maharashtra region, which is very close to my heart. Now these are the pictures you can see. These are my Bhiwandi. Every river literally you will see it is, you know, totally polluted. Now you see this is river Kamvari. Can you see, will you call it as a river? It's all of plastics, and you can see Cornea developed so much. That means totally water is completely polluted and no maintenance, no authority who's looking after it. This is Arjuna River in Rajapur. You can see this part. This is not at all the road part. This is the actually river which has been covered up with material of road material, and all vehicle parkings are being done on the river area. And you can see a small thin line here. You can see this channel. This much only they have left it for the river. So what is happening here is the region of junction where ocean is there. Now ocean water is coming towards the river. So it has started percolating in the river region. In Arjuna in Rajapur. Similarly in Kamvari, we are close to Thane Creek. Because here it is cleaning is not being done, all the creek water is getting percolated in the groundwater, and in today in Bhiwandi, almost all tap water and groundwater is giving all hard water. That means it shows that it is with lot of saline water is getting percolated. Now this is Waldhuni and the Ullas River, which is more affected due to the effluence. Now I'm trying to show you about the over damming issue, which I was trying to work since 2006 in Maharashtra. This is the Bhatsa Dam. But if we look at overall scenario of Maharashtra, more than 75% of major dams are constructed only in Maharashtra. Whenever Mumbai में थोड़ा भी बात आ जाए कि पानी की स्केर्सिटी है, एक नया डैम का अनाउंसमेंट हो जाता है, और उसके वजह से बहुत बायोडाइवर्सिटी अफेक्ट होता है, जिसका कि हमारे पास में कोई भी अंदाजा नहीं है, उसका कोई भी रिकॉर्ड नहीं है, रिपोर्ट नहीं है। और आज आप अगर भादसा का सिचुएशन देखोगे, भादसा नदी का सिचुएशन देखोगे, एक और पे जिंदाल कंपनी है जो इट इज रिलीजिंग ऑल थर्मल वाटर. Then there are many shanties. You can see these canteens on the river itself. This is oil, Liberty Oil company, which is on the river. Their vehicles are being washed. Then people, going into it. No, it's like no water conservation methods, no check on all these things. Now I'm showing you one dam which has been announced, Mumri Dam, near to Bhatsa River only. You can see here in this figure, I'm trying to show you how close each dams are. And see, this is the Mumri region, which will be submerged after few months or I don't know when it will happen, but it has been given approval. So the livelihood of people there, all kinds of trees, so much of places of biodiversity, all will get submerged. And at the cost of this, that we are trying to make dams. And let me tell you very frankly, these dams are not for irrigation nowadays. These dams are not for electrical purpose, but only for the industry supply. Now I'm coming to Bhiwandi. This is all the water bodies in Bhiwandi. You have a look at the pictures of the Bhiwandi. This is Koppar Lake, Kaler Lake, Purna, Varala, then all Kamvari River. You can see everywhere the situation. And the situation is only because of, you can see the kind of encroachments on the river. This is on the blue line itself, all this. Do you think it is happening only in a day and without the consensus of the authorities in the region? It's not that. Here is the tabela of the first man of that place itself. So all the pollution is also by the tabela water. These are the nalas which is flowing through the city itself, where the buildings are there. Now this is the thing which I'm trying to show, that how I went to the companies. I've tried to close down many of the units by taking along with me regional Maharashtra Pollution Control Board officers with them, challenging them that show me where ETPs are there, and if ETPs are not there, or if the situations is not maintained properly, I have tried to, at least 4 of them I have tried to recently close down. This is the Kharbao region, where we can see that the water of the body water body has become very much black. This is Waldhuni River, where I can show you some construction. See, these are the constructions which has come up in the, this is in Ambernath region, all of Thane district. Now I'm trying to show all these CEAT companies, car companies and others have come up on the river areas, only MIDC regions. This is overlooked by all the ministries and everyone. Everybody knows, every ministry involved, everybody, and every Palak Mantri, everybody knows. But I don't know, after knowing everything, how these things happen so rampantly. Until date, the rivers are being encroached by all these means, and rivers are all dying. We have to understand, river is like blood flowing in the blood vessels in our body. So similarly, rivers has to flow, and we have to ensure that the rivers must flow. This is that region which I was trying to show you, of the Rajapur region. Recently, when I was there, I took some few people to show all these things. Now, this is the Bhatsa River, where whatever you just think, it is there inside the river itself. You can see the canteens inside the rivers. You can see people inside the river. Shanties come up. Then there are people here. I found that from Kalwa, Mumra, and many other different places, people bring महीना भर का कपड़ा लाके धोते हैं. ये एक bridge जिसको dismantle किया गया था, अभी भी that debris is lying like that, although there is a new bridge which is constructed. So, and this is all in holy period that people come, everybody from across Mumbai region come to the Bhatsa River to clean their colors and enjoy this river. Now, this is just behind my house is the Dindoshi Hill, where this is a stream for which I am trying to fight for. I have tried to save it since 2008. Raheja builders have been trying to take it down. If anybody knows about the Goregaon region, you must have seen IIT Park, where Raheja has constructed big IIT Park over here. But since that time, I have come in 2007 here, 2008 onwards, whenever they have tried any attempt, I have stopped. Recently also, they had tried to do the same, and I have tried to stop it. This is what recently, this is just, I think, you can see the date also, yeah, on 14/5. That means May 14, this had happened. So this is how I'm trying to keep a check with my own. But unfortunately, it is happening that very few people come ahead to help you. Very few people will be there to, be there to support you. But never mind, friends, I feel that if in our capacity, we can do n number of things. And that's how, these are the things which I'm trying to show what you can do. Some skits which we do on 26 January, chain formation, so that we attract people's, attract people's attention towards us, to tell them about river rejuvenation, river rallies, peace march, river oath. And in that, we ensure that corporations, commissioner, mayor, everybody comes along. We make a mayor take the oath. This is the rainwater harvesting survey we have conducted all over, and we have found not even 20% of rainwater harvesting policies are being implemented. I try to conduct a joint meeting with collector. I enforce him that there should be a joint meeting, integrated meeting of MMRDA, MPCB, corporation, Zila Parishad, then Tehsildar, all of us sit together and have meetings. And that's how I'm trying to solve the issue of Kamvari River in Bhiwandi. Because let me tell you, most of the major rivers are having some at least religious sentiments, and people are trying to give attention. But when it comes to a kind of river which is polluted by textile industries, nobody is ready to come forward, because there is lot of hand in glove with many people. Nobody wants to take the risk. But still, I have tried to make an effort. And that's how Rotary had recently also honored me. They have given me their membership also. And then through Rotary and other means, that I try to get some funds so that I can take up all this work. Along with me now, the Hisar College is there. Many other colleges have joined me in this, and I'm sure now BL Jadhav sir's GKS college will also work in Bhatsa region along with me. I've already spoken with him. So mostly I'm trying to I do a lot of RTIs, because through ITI, I try to build in a pressure. A lot of media coverage happens, and also to Jal Shakti I've written. Now this is my last slide I'm coming to. I believe that there has to be multi-stakeholder approach for collective action, where, academia, local community, government, civil society, private sector, and experts, when all of them can come together and an integrated approach, a platform can be created, that will be to interact and analyze the complexity of the situation on ground, and share commitments will have local ownership and will result in innovative solutions and opportunities leading to transformation of the water scenario in the Maharashtra and across the nation. Today that is why fighting for Right to Water Act to be adopted by the states. So this is what I just wanted to bring to all of your notice. And I believe our karma should be like K, which should stand for keep our hopes high, act in the best possible way, rise up high, make the most of every opportunity, ask for nothing in return. So that should be our karma to save water and save life. And what is going to stay constant and stand by your side is the faith you have in yourself and the spiritual power you have been blessed with. So that is the divine spirituality, and that's how I feel that we all can also save Ganga. And just don't think that Ganga is only Ganga. Every river flowing besides us is our Ganga. So with that thought in our mind, if we work, I think we all can stay blessed. Whether it is a pandemic coming like COVID or any kind of pandemic coming to us, it will not be able to affect us when we stand united, when we stand sensible, when we stand responsible, and when we do our duties rather than asking for our rights only. Thank you so much for listening to me, giving me an opportunity to present this particular presentation. Thank you so much, organizers, and Dr. B.L. Jadhav specifically.
Thank you very much, madam. Very wonderful presentation. We can see that it's very detailed. You had done a lot of study.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
given us, the live picture from the whole country. Thank you very much. And now I request.
Only excuse me. Sorry, very, very sorry. I'm just taking another 2 minutes of yours. Please just excuse me.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a World Water Council member. I forgot to mention, and actually I removed all those pictures from this. Only world scenario I did not show, which is most worse than what we saw in India. World Water Council is trying to become more and more bringing in corporatization. You had heard few months back about 0 day in Cape Town. Similarly, 0 day in Chennai then. You have to understand that corporatization of water is happening across the world. Corporates are trying to barge into our areas, our countries, and they are trying to take everything in their hand, and they are trying to promote more in even academics about, instead of calling it as water river system and all, they're calling it as infrastructure, water infrastructure. And in the name of that they are trying to corporatize more and more, and all the water aquifers, groundwater aquifers are being purchased. Today, Coca-Cola company, Nestle company, most of the companies have already purchased such aquifers. Earlier, countries used to be economically more rich by means of having crude oil, crude oil drilling these things. And today, it's more about aquifers, which is being taken away by the companies. So we have to be very, very careful about these things. In India, in Nagpur and other regions also, this one of the company, Violini company, which has already come, they tried to say to the state governments that we will help you to supply water to every house. Like now, Jal Shakti Ministry has come up with a scheme that har ghar mein jal, nal se jal. So nal laga denge, jal kahan se aayega agar river mein pani nahi hoga, ground mein nahi hoga. So we have to be very, very careful about this corporatization of water. We should not allow this corporatization of water at all, because water is natural resource. It's our natural right, fundamental right. So we should not sell off water. We should not buy water. We should not allow even this, purification of water is also a myth. We are not having any minerals. We look at the mineral bottles. They don't have minerals at all. But in the name of mineral name that we are all buying it. So we have to understand this concept also. Thank you so much for giving me a few more time to speak.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Now I request Professor Dr. B.L. Jadhav to speak few words. As he said that he has some